All right, so when I look at this group station for solar noon analysis, I know that I need to start here on my own, then go to here as a group, and then finally here as a group. So let's see if we can make sense of this together. First of all, it says, look at this diagram and read this short passage about solar noon. So here's the diagram, and here is the passage. So I am going to color this. All right, so this diagram is showing me there's a line, and I can kind of think of this line as like the horizon. Oh, that's not going to work. So this is like the horizon. Okay, so when you look out and you see like the earth, we call that the horizon. Right here is when the sun is rising. So this would be like the morning time. Cock-a-doodle-doo. If you have a rooster, it'll be crowing. Here is sunset. So we can assume that this is where the sun is below the horizon, or in other words, the earth has rotated away. We don't see it directly. And this would be 2. So I'm going to come over here, and looks like the darkest color I can get is a dark blue. So all of this, just imagine, is nighttime. This here is nighttime. Okay, so this part is where we have our daylight hours. So up at the top, well, actually right here is right when the sun is rising. So again, cock-a-doodle-doo, you look out your window, it's time to wake up, you're starting to see the sun. Gets lighter and lighter and lighter, usually warmer. And then right here, I'll use my pointer. Right here is where we have our solar noon. Okay, and we're going to do a little bit more reading to see what that means. And then eventually there's less and less and less sun. And finally we have our sunset. Okay, so it says on your own, look at the diagram. Okay, I've made sense of it. And then read the short passage. So we're going to highlight this. What is noon? The English language is a little imprecise when it comes to the word noon. It can mean 2 different things. Okay. Number 1, in terms of civil time, noon is simply another word for 12 o'clock, the moment separating morning and afternoon. As such, it is the opposite of midnight. Alternative names include midday and noontime. Okay, so this is saying, in other words, that noon is simply happens every 24 hours at the same time. 12 o'clock happens right after 11:59 a.m. and right before 12:01 p.m. Okay. So this is kind of the way that we think of noon right now in our daily lives. Number 2, in terms of solar time, noon is the moment when the sun crosses the local meridian and reaches its highest position in the sky, except at the poles. This version of noon is also called solar noon or high noon. Oh, so that makes so much sense. So if I come back over here, I notice this is sunrise and this is sunset, and this is at 7:16 a.m., 6:37 p.m. But look, solar noon is not at immediately 12 o'clock. Solar noon is actually happening at 12:57 p.m. or 57 minutes after what we would call noon. Okay, so we have our common everyday speech thinking of noon, and then we have the noon where this line right here, which is a wave, right here where it is at its highest. Okay, I hope this is helpful.